What's up, superheroes? I uh, I woke up a few mornings ago, and as I often do, because when you live in chronic pain, it has a way of just sort of barging into your life at any time, regardless of whether or not it's convenient or anything like that. So I find myself often jarred awake by my shoulder and back and hip pain and all that. And so sometimes, you just, at least for me, there's just some sort of jolted awake, and I have to start just dealing with I have to start administering, gotta take my pain meds, and I gotta get up and put food in my body. So the pain meds aren't a thing, and it turns into a whole, so you just gotta sort of you just wake up and you're right in it. And, at the same time, I find, and I don't know, maybe maybe it's the same for you, maybe not. Pain has a way of collapsing our perception of time and space down to right here and right now. So, sort of like when they say time flies when you're having fun, and sort of the implication is that time really drags when you're not having fun, and being in pain is decidedly not fun. So it has a way of collapsing your space and dilating your perception of time. So the here and now becomes, the here is tight as possible. Like your whole universe feels like the pain that's in your body is the edge of the universe. So it collapses space down into that tiny little space, your perception of it. But then it does the opposite to time, right? If it's, if time flies when you're having fun and it drags when you're not, then when you're in pain, it can echo out for a long time. Everything slows down dramatically. The more pain you're in, the longer you've been in pain, all of these things are factors, your tolerance for pain, the why you're going through it, and so on and so forth. So, I think that what I captured here, because if this was a filmmaking exercise, I was like, oh, well, I'm already up, and I've been practicing and learning about filmmaking, so I figured I would set up a camera and do my morning routine as I'm dealing with my pain and so on and so forth. So I'd already taken my pain meds, and I had to come out here and put something in my stomach, and I got the coffee going and all that. You'll see it all. But I wanted to capture the experience that I have often in quiet moments like this while being in chronic pain. It has a way of there's a slow burn to it, and so as a filmmaker, I'm learning how to capture things like this, and I wanted to get a little practice with that. So you get to go on this sort of quiet journey that I get to go on pretty much every morning. A lot of my mornings start off like this. Well before the alarm clock went off, right? So I'm just awake whether I want to be or not. And so I just sort of have to just suck it up and get in the game. And so this was a way for me to let you into sort of like what that's like. It's not only is it quiet, almost to the point of feeling a little dull, but it really drags on, and that's definitely my experience of those quiet moments. I don't know, what your experience is with pain or chronic pain. I think this for me, it's certainly physical, mostly so. There are days when I've also, it's been a long road for this guy. So, there's a lot of other, mental and emotional wounding that has happened. But for me, a lot of this whole thing is the physical end of it. And it's, I would say, probably the most prominent one that, interferes with my life. So I don't know, what experiences you may have had, but, first, anyway, my point is this, that for some people, this is more of a physical experience of chronic pain, and chronic pain being very different from, a sharp pain. or an acute pain rather. So there's like acute pain and chronic pain, and then there's like sharp pain and dull pain. I think of those as sort of the spectrums that they're on. Acute pain is something that happens right here, right now, and goes away before too long. Chronic pain is the opposite, right? Chronic pain is something that continues on, and it's got an oppressive sort of weight to it that is very different. It's sort of like anyway, it's a whole different experience. And then obviously with physical pain, you have sort of a sharp or a dull pain. But again, pain is really formulated and experienced in the mind, and in that regard, intellectual pain, emotional pain, or physical pain are all experienced sort of as the same thing. So again, we can talk about it in the physical realm, but for you or for other people in your universe, it may very well be that this is an emotional or a psychological, like intellectual pain. Whatever the case, I think for a lot of people, there are hallmarks that are similar experiences that they have with pain, and it's something that, like it or not, I have to deal with, and so it's something that I'm exploring and talking with people about. So, I don't know, whatever your experiences are with pain, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm always interested, I find that other people give me insight into myself just by learning about them and hearing what their experiences are. So, even at a minimum, I always like hearing people's stories just because it helps me understand the world and myself better. But also, I do care what your stories are, and I am interested. So, if you want to share, I'm always pretty easy to find. We have a comments, and for more private, personal stories, if you feel like you want to share and so on, then I like to think of myself as a safe space. So you can DM me if you had a sensitive story that you wanted to tell, or something you didn't want to share with everybody. But whatever the case, I appreciate y'all going on this journey with me. Like I said, this is sort of a 2-for-1. It's a filmmaking exercise, and then I figured this was also an opportunity for me to share my journey with you, I guess. Sort of, I don't know, there's something about it where after 40 years of this, maybe for me it's closer to like 35 years or so, because I didn't really start with chronic pain until I was like 4 or 5. So I'm 39 now, and so I guess that's about 35 years, 34 years. Something like that. So I've been doing the chronic pain game for a minute, and that's the thing with chronic pain, is that it sort of has a compounding effect over time. So that's been an interesting thing to navigate. Whatever the case, there's a version of this footage if you want to just see it as is, the dry version with no talking. I've got a little music attached to it, so there's going to be a version with just music, and then there's a version where you can sit and go on this journey and hear me talk about this. So I'll have links to both available, and thanks for going on this journey with me. Have a great one, y'all.